Tanzania, we have an amazing array of places we call home. But when it comes to interior designing, decorations, and gardening, we don't make the most of the spaces. On The Decor, you learn about designs, styles, functions, elegance, and traditions by being inspired from the best in the field to transform your spaces and create more memories. On Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Local government elections to be held on 24th November 2019. Burundi's Minister of Internal Affairs urges Burundi refugees to return home. And in sports, Rwanda emerges winner of the East Africa Military Championships. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. The government has said that local government elections will be held on 24th of November this year. Announcing the process for the election, the Minister of State for Regional Administration and Local Government, Suleiman Jafo, directed regional commissioners and regional administrative secretaries to ensure they adhere to election guidelines and regulations.
Mwenye dhamana na tawala za mikoa na serikali za mitaa anautangazia umma wa Tanzania.
I announced to the general public and registered political parties in the country that on 24th November 2019 will be an election day for local government officials in mainland Tanzania. Voting will start at 8 a.m. and finish at 4 p.m. We are taking part because this is the only democratic process which will strengthen our country in peace and harmony. We'd spoken to the President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government not to leave the election under regional and district commissioners because there is conflict of interest, but we were not listened.
The Minister of Internal Affairs and Rural Development from Burundi, Pascal Barandagiye, has requested refugees from Burundi sheltered at camps in Kigoma to return to their country as peace and stability have been restored. He gave the assurance when addressing the refugees at Nduta camp in Kibondo district. On their part, some of the refugees said that the process being implemented to enable them return home is slow.
I would like you all to know that even though Tanzania granted you permission to stay here, it is still not your own country. Therefore, to all those who listened to my previous calls on them to return home, I would like them to focus on registering their names so that they can return home. When we tried to find out whether we could return home, we were told that the number of Burundians who were allowed to return home has already been established. When we tried harder, we were told to wait until October before we could be helped to go back home.
Azivira chamwe ashira imbambamyi kwenye juhudi za Burundi na Tanzania kuwarudisha Warundi Burundi, hao wote tutawakamata.
The Executive Director of the World Bank Africa Region, Annie Kabagambe, has commended the government of Tanzania for implementing the standard gauge railway project by using internal funds. She gave the tribute after an inspection tour of the SGR project. She said she will look into how to increase financial support in order to complete the project, which will open up economic and social opportunities in the African region.
This is a project that is not only for Tanzania. This is a project that has regional implications, that has regional links for the landlocked countries. And therefore, to congratulate the government for taking this decision, but also it is my hope that in future, as we continue to look for additional financing, that the bilaterals, the multilateral organizations like the World Bank that I represent will be able to come along to finish this very impressive engineering feat. I'm very impressed, and I will be able to take forward the message of what we have seen today.
Mkurugenzi mtendaji wa Benki ya Dunia.
The executive officer of the World Bank visit is warmly welcomed. She has seen the speed of work being done from Dar es Salaam station. She is very pleased on the speed and quality. Without a doubt, she's promised that the World Bank and other multilateral financing institutions are ready to finance this project because it is not just for Tanzania, but it will benefit other landlocked countries.
A heavy rainstorm in the early hours of the morning caused massive destruction in Bukoba Municipal Kagera region. Among buildings affected were the office of the Rescue and Fire Brigade, private offices at the Government Procurement Service Agency building, and infrastructure belonging to Tanzania Electricity Supply Company, TANESCO.
There was very strong winds. When we came out, we found houses had been unroofed. There has been some damage to property, but we are grateful that no one has died. The building that has been unroofed belongs to the government and was used by the Fire and Rescue Service. They must be moved to another building before noon today. Occupants from all buildings that have been affected will be moved, including the Fire and Rescue Service.
Muhimbili National Hospital has received 5 million shillings from Albert Msando, which are contributions given by some Tanzanians who were sensitized via Instagram. The amount will be used to cover costs of treatment for Sabina Kitwale Loita, who died at the hospital, costs which President Dr. John Magufuli had pledged to pay.
Sasa Muhimbili inafanya hivyo.
It is true that costs could go so high, and it is not easy for an ordinary Tanzanian to afford. The Muhimbili National Hospital pardons those who cannot afford to pay between 500 and 600 million per month. It is clear that the hospital cannot manage this burden. So as we receive this money, we ask for Tanzanians who can help us to come forward.
Kuona kitendo cha rais kuguswa na yule mama ambaye alikuwa anadaiwa fedha.
When I saw how much the president was touched by the debt owed by this lady, I decided through my social media account to urge my friends and other Tanzanians to contribute and support Honorable President to pay the debt, because he assumed direct responsibility for the debt. Honorable President has power to ask the lady to be pardoned, but he chose to pay the debt himself. This drove us to join hands to contribute.
Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has directed Lindi District Commissioner Shaibu Ndemanga to give him a report on performance of the District Council Director Warioba Gonza after failing to give him information on implementation of a water project at Rutamba Ward. I got information about environmental destruction done in Rutamba. My fellow citizens, If you are planning to live away from this area, just carry on with the distractions. These acts will lead to lack of water. You are the ones responsible in preserving your environment. Rutamba is blessed with various sources of water, but you do not cooperate in maintaining good environment around here. You can't depend on government officials to do this job while you are just here. That is not possible. And crocodiles from a wildlife park in Mwera, Zanzibar, are reported to have left the park and entered a river used by residents of Mchikichini. The regional commissioner of Mjini Magharib, Ayub Mahmoud, has visited the river where residents say they have seen more than 7 crocodiles.
I've never been able to catch any before. So far, I've only caught 6. A crocodile becomes dangerous from 2 meters long. It takes 6 to 1 year to get that long. As you've seen, water has been drained and we are going to move them. Advice given by experts has been followed.
And residents from Londoto village in Tembo Forest, Simanjiro district, Manyara region have complained that 100 acres of land with crops and irrigation systems built by funds from Tanzania Social Action Fund has been destroyed by East Western Company after directing them to move. The investor Gabriel Kimario claims that he is the rightful owner after buying the land from the district government in 1992. I am sad that our leaders are protecting a person who have cut down trees in an area of about 400 acres. The pain that we are feeling can't be described. Our energy is lost. Our resources are lost. And even our skills were not considered. We don't need the director. He has been ruthless and unfair to us. We have agreed with my committee that there shall be a request letter, a letter for approval of an area, village meeting agreement, and minutes of a general meeting of 1991-1992. And that is the end of national news. International news follows shortly. National news. Uganda Communication Commission has admitted on closing websites belonging to some media companies from Rwanda due to incitement claims. The commission says that the companies, including that one of New York Times, have violated the recent agreement signed by the presidents of the two countries in Angola.
We ask for the relationship to be restored to how it was in the past. We'd be glad if the relationship between Uganda and Rwanda is strengthened because we are like children of these two leaders. If the relationship between the two presidents is also restored, we will be happy.
A huge vessel, the world's only floating nuclear power plant, has left its dock in the Russian port of Murmansk and is on its way to the Arctic town of Pevek despite opposition from environmental groups.
The 144 meters long and 30 meters wide vessel, named the Akademik Lomonosov after the 18th century Russian scientist, houses 2 nuclear reactors. It will be towed 6,000 kilometers to the remote Siberian region of Chukotka, about 86 kilometers from the U.S. state of Alaska, after leaving the port on Friday. Once docked, the barge will replace a coal-burning power plant and an aging land-based nuclear plant and will supply 50,000 people in the area with electricity.
And the United Nations has expressed concern over the reports of excessive use of force by Indian soldiers. Human rights activists have condemned the internet and telephone shutdown in the Indian-administered Kashmir. They say the blackout enforced by the Indian government is a form of collective punishment on the people of the disputed region. It has been more than 2 weeks since India revoked Kashmir's autonomy. of international news. Business news follows shortly after the break. We'll be right back.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. Residents from Msufini, Dihombo and Dihinda villages in Mvomero district, Morogoro region have formed into groups and started sunflower farming, a development that has helped to reduce environment degradation in Mkingu Nature Reserve, which was caused by illegal farming activities.
We cultivated sunflower, and this time around we got high yield compared to previous seasons. In the past, we intercropped with other crops such as maize, but this time we only cultivated sunflower. We get at least 13 bags per hectare. When the experts came, they asked us to try this new technology, which is producing a higher yield. The 3,000 hectares that were inside the reserve, 75% has been claimed back using our own finances. We sought permission to use money to remove farmers that were inside the reserve. If we did not have this source of finance, we wouldn't have claimed back the 3,000 hectares.
Tanzania Association of Accountants, TAA, is conducting training on taxation amendments, with some accountants from various companies expressing concern on delayed information and new tax regulations, as saying that this has affected implementation of their work.
The main challenge we are facing is receiving information on time. There are some changes, but the deliberation on regulations is delayed. For instance, as you can see, we are in August 23rd, but we are told that processes are underway. Yet the implementation started on July 1st. In addition to giving them training on taxation, people need to know what is tax, and one should be proud of paying tax because of development in his area as a result of tax collected, such as a tarmac road.
And youth in Lindi region have called on the government to empower them with loans so as to enable them engage in sustainable farming activities. They made the call when the Deputy Minister of Labour, Youth and Employment, Anthony Mavunde, visited groups involved in a project called Kitalu Nyumba in Lindi Municipal.
That is to be connected. We have received training and are now able to construct greenhouses, but how can we access capital and start up companies? So we need training on how to write a business proposal and the ability to convince others to invest.
Ofisi ya Waziri Mkuu inatekeleza mradi wa kukuza ujuzi nchini.
We aim to reach 18,800 youths across the country, and you've been given the opportunity to fully participate directly. Each council will see 100 young people. This is to enable young people to be self-employed through agriculture.
ya Luponda, kijiji cha Mwananyamala.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows shortly after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose and left.
Welcome back, and in sports news tonight. The 12th East Africa Military Championships have been closed by President of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta. Here's more on the story.
The competition brought together military teams from 6 nations forming the East African community, competing in volleyball, soccer, netball, athletics, and basketball. Rwanda have emerged winners in soccer and netball. Kenya won in athletics. Uganda were netball and volleyball champions. Tanzania finished 3rd in netball, soccer, as well as athletics.
Now, KMC Football Club have been thrown out of the CAF Confederations Cup following a 2-1 loss at home against Kigali. Here's more on the story.
KMC's hopes of qualifying for the second round of the Confederations Cup after a 0-0 draw in Rwanda were put off in the 29th minute when AS Kigali went forward through Rashid Kalisa before Eric Nsabimana killed all hopes with a second goal in the 64th minute. KMC had a consolation through Yusuf Ndikumana's penalty kick in the 87th minute, but it was a bit too late for a comeback. Tanzania now remained with Azam in the Confederations Cup, who play tomorrow against Fasil Katema, with Yanga and Simba also still in the Champions League.
The former Ghana international Junior Agogo has died at the age of 40. Here's more on the story.
Agogo was born in Accra but made his professional debut for Sheffield Wednesday during the 1998-1999 season. He played only 2 games for the Olds and had a loan spells at Oldham, Chester, Chesterfield and Lincoln before moving to the US with Chicago Fire in 2000. He returned to the UK in 2002 and played for Barnet, Bristol Rovers, where he made over 100 appearances, and Nottingham Forest. He ended his career after spells in Egypt, Cyprus and Scotland. Agogo won 27 cups for Ghana and was part of the squad who finished 3rd at 2008 African Cup of Nations, where he scored 3 goals.
Unai Emery has told Shodran Mustafi and Mohamed El Nain to find another challenge before the end of the European transfer window, with both players resigned to bid part roles if they remain at Arsenal beyond 2nd September. Here are more details.
It means they have a week and a half to find new employers, and despite interest in Mustafi from Monaco and in El Neni from Turkish Super League sides, no deal has been struck. Emery said a fortnight ago he had spoken to Mustafi about the defender's future and reiterated in clearer terms that it was in his best interest to depart. They're very big players, but for one circumstance or another, they're going to have fewer chances to show their capacity or to be happy with us and the minutes they play in matches, Emery said.
Marco Silva has told Richarlison and Yerry Mina to improve their English with the Everton manager, unimpressed with their efforts to learn the language. Here's the story.
Silva wants all his players to communicate in English on the pitch and demands all foreign signings take lessons as soon as they arrive at the club. Those instructions were given to Richarlison when he joined Watford from Fluminense more than 2 years ago, and to Min after his move from Barcelona last summer, but Silva remains concerned over the ability of the Brazil and Colombia internationals to communicate with teammates. Silva has no problem with the language skills of the summer signings, Moise Kean and Jean-Philippe Bamin.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbo. Thank you for watching and good night.